Anyway, so thank you all for coming. In a strange way, having you all here tonight and having this take place at the Groundlings here, in a weird way, and might end up being the evening he kind of always wanted. Back when I was, I guess, 7 years old, I started coming to the shows and stuff. And when my dad wasn't in the rehearsals, when my dad wasn't on stage performing, he would, you know, be sitting in the seats watching rehearsals, and he was usually trying to coax some attractive woman to massage his feet. During the improv, which is not a thing for a 7-year-old to see. My dad became not only my best friend, but he was my hero as well. And I didn't really get the chance to perform on stage with him a lot. But outside the theater, like, our comedic instincts grew and our connection grew and grew. And, you know, he always thought, he thought our relationship was a little bit like E.T. and Elliot. When E.T. got sick, Elliot got sick. Or when he was happy, I was happy, and you know, it was a little bit, I wouldn't say it was unhealthy, but there was a little bit of that kind of like, I'm not feeling so good. Or, like I say, I don't feel so good. I don't feel so good. So he was really proud to be a Smurf. I don't know if you know that. He said, yeah, if you don't remember him being a Smurf, go, yeah, it was Taylor Smurf. I was shocked you didn't. Yeah, it's Taylor Smurf. I make the clothes. He had a way of doing everyone else around. Everyone around my father was always laughing. I remember everyone around was always laughing. Growing up, I don't remember anyone around him not smiling. You know, and who wouldn't want to hang out with that guy? The charm and the energy that my dad had was remarkable, and you know, not a hint of it wasn't sincere. You know, it was straight from the heart. And so tonight is another improvised night for you, Dad. And for those of you who went to go see my dad during the 11 months that he was in the hospital, thank you for coming, and he loved every minute of it. So.
Kip King was the funniest man I ever met. And I've known some funny people. I saw the tears underneath the laughter. When the tears came, they came easily. The sadness of the clown, and the joy of performance and laughter. Jerry Lewis tried to clone him. Luckily, he failed. The jokes he wrote in the 70s stood up in 2004. They were silly, smart jokes, and only Kip could get laughs from them. No one else. No one else. It seemed to me that those in the audience knew they were laughing at the man, and the jokes were just the wagon he rode in on. Kip didn't realize the fame he deserved, but then fame is about being known to strangers. We who are not strangers to Kip know him in ways that strangers cannot. To us, he is the greatest star. Keep it coming, Kip. Keep it coming. Thank you.
I got to meet Kip because he was Chris's dad, and he used to come to New York when we were living there and working on the show before I took over Chris's apartment. Your dad, there's no better word to describe it. Your dad was so proud of you. And when we were doing Bollywood Hero, we did some stuff at your house where I was babysitting Kip, and it was so much fucking fun. That guy's, oh God, so funny, and it was just a joy, both of you. And then one character that he wrote, because he knew he was leaving the show, was a character called Zip Zing. And Zip Zing was this lovely, I would say septa, maybe octogenarian. It was just that, yeah, we all knew it was kind of your dad and a little bit of an homage, but there was a very palpable sweetness in the air to it, and at the end we'd sing "The Best Is Yet to Come" and "Wait Till the Sun Shines on Its Way." And it just, I don't know, there was something very special about it. And I always think about that, and that is a translation of letting him know, like, how much you loved your dad. So thank you for letting me be around.
That we should dedicate a classroom to Kip, because that's where, you know, we all came from, and that'll inspire, you know, the next Groundlings. So we did that, and so the classroom, our main classroom is now going to be the Kip King room.
Thank you.
When I first met Kip, he was, well, the whole time I knew him, searching and searching and searching for answers and for healing. And he became, I mean, he was always smart as a whip, but he became really wise. And he would talk a lot of Tibetan Buddhism to me. He would talk, but I mean, for real. He was not chanting for a car. He was, I mean, he was meditating, and actually I think he hurt his hip through his back because he said, I sat in that position for all those years. I hurt myself. But anyway, he was always, because he had such a full life, so there were things that he just didn't mention, like that Stan Laurel had mentored him.
Yeah.
I found that out about 2 years ago. And I mean, Kip is a good friend, not just somebody I was in the Groundlings with. I mean, and Rob and I ran into him at the Jazz Bakery, and he's telling this whole story. He said, he willed me his bow tie. He said, I don't know where it is. But there were so many stories and so many, you know, I mean, the people he was engaged to. Then in Kip's wisdom, he called me some years ago. I was sick. I'm fine now. And he called me, and I was kind of weak. And we would have these long, wonderful talks usually, but I was not up to it. And I was very, very weak in recovering. And he said, and he has said it to me since, many times since, and I want to pass it on to you. He said, I'll talk to you tomorrow, but just remember, all there is love, and everything else is an illusion. That's all I'm going to say.
One day, when Kip was in an office, I was in this big, you know, pool. They call them boiler rooms. So I knocked on the door and said, Mike said I should come listen to you. And he said, well, sit down! Leave us right now. Completely welcoming, not like, no, I'm not going to give you any of my secrets. I'm going to keep them all to myself. No, he was the most exuberant and joyful person I'd ever met in my life. You know, of course, they were crying Jack, because he was very emotional and tied into his emotions. But I think that's what made him such a genius. And this comet of comic consciousness hurtling through space, and he hits me. Completely spins my whole life around, sends me in a different direction, and I'm following the comet then. And I followed the comet, and he said, you know, I'm this group called the Groundlings. You have to come and audition sometime. And I said, okay. And he said, hey, you know, they're holding auditions at the Groundlings, so you should come and audition. And I said, they're having the auditions this Saturday. So I auditioned, and, you know, I became in the Groundlings. And only because of Kip. Kip was, as Gary said, the funniest person that I've ever met in my life.
And I went to the hospital in the morning. Nobody cared that it was before visiting hours. I just got right in. And I took my one of my applause boxes. And I said, I went up to Kip's bed and I said, ladies and gentlemen, Kip King. And then I opened my box. And I did the applause, and he smiled, and then I did it again, and he smiled again, and I thought, I'm not going to milk it 2 times. So let's all join with the applause box in giving him a big round of applause.
A lot of you don't know what the Kip was. I was his best friend. I pretty much taught Kip everything he knows. Everything he knew about show business, and then he passed it on to Chris. And I tried to pass it on to my son, but he doesn't listen. And Kip got married in 1976 to celebrate the bicentennial. I think some of us were there. He had the wedding at Sherman, in his house, Sherman Oaks. They got married in a circle of apples in the backyard. And, you know, at my wedding, I broke a glass. At Kip's wedding, he made applesauce. Kip and I, we had a strange bond. You know, we didn't say a lot to each other, but we were proud fathers of 2 short Jewish TV stars. A few hours before he passed, it was, I don't know what it was. I hadn't planned on seeing him that day. I told Harriet, I said, you know, I think I want to go see Kip. And I did see him, and he passed a few hours later. And as everyone has said, there's a hole out there, and there's a lot of laughs that aren't going to be there, and the laughs will hopefully still be in our memories and in our hearts. And I'm going to miss him. Thank you.
We're going to miss the family gatherings where he was the center of attention and always had a joke, and yes, that laugh, which I think has been inherited by me and Chris, and I don't think anybody else can do it. Basically, when he was in 1st grade, they called my parents and said, you need to take him out of here and put him into a private school. We can't teach him anything.
Kip and I always called each other in different names, like Dude or Duty. Being funny and had a sense of humor, both our days were always filled with laughter. Kip has taught me so many things. When I brought him to the hospital, he told me to be strong. For the short time we have been together, it seemed like we were celebrating our silver anniversary. Kip was fun to be with, and he had quick wit. Kip, I'm not saying goodbye for good. He has gone on ahead of us to a better place. He'll watch over us and probably laugh a good deal of the time. And he'll continue to touch us throughout our lives until we meet up again with him in that glorious place. So we won't say goodbye today, just that we love you, and we'll see you later, dude.
But I'm not ready to say goodbye. Oh, I'm not ready to let go.
And you know, I knew something. I knew it was going to be funny. I knew that not this was going to be funny, but I knew that it's going to be okay to laugh. He wanted that. You know, he's way too emotional. He was way too emotional and serious a lot of the time, but I think he really naturally just wanted to have a fun time, and that's who he was. He's just an incredible life. I will miss him. So.